There are some tragedies that happen because of a deliberate decision to hurt someone. And then there are tragedies that begin with something completely ordinary. A normal workday, two coworkers joking around, and one moment of carelessness that changes multiple lives forever. On August 20th, 2026, 26-year-old Tyler Anthony Lynch was working at a tree trimming job in Apple Valley, Minnesota. What started as an ordinary day at work would end with Tyler losing his life in one of the most horrifying workplace accidents imaginable. And the circumstances surrounding his death have now resulted in a manslaughter charge against the man who was operating the equipment. This is a story of what happened to Tyler Lynch. Tyler Lynch was 26 and from Royalton, Minnesota. On August 20th, Tyler and a coworker, 34-year-old Christopher Boone Crimmins of Brainerd, were working for a tree trimming company. According to investigators, the crew had already completed a job in Plymouth before traveling to Apple Valley for another assignment. There was nothing about that day that suggested it would end any differently than the others. The men arrived at the Apple Valley job site and began doing the work that they were there to do. Crimmins was operating the truck in its hydraulic boom because he was the only member of the crew with a commercial driver's license. Meanwhile, Tyler was on the ground, cleaning up branches. Above him was the truck-mounted hydraulic grapple, a large piece of machinery designed to grab and move heavy branches and trees. And then something caught their attention. The sunlight was casting shadows from the machinery and from Tyler onto the street. Crimmins told police that at that point, him and Tyler began effing around. They noticed the shadows created by the grapple in Tyler's body. Crimmins then began moving the hydraulic grapple in an attempt to make its shadow appear as though it was grabbing Tyler's shadow. It was essentially a bizarre game with the shadows on the pavement, but there was a critical problem. While concentrating on the shadows, Crimmins wasn't watching the actual grapple, and he wasn't watching Tyler. The grapple was actually moving towards Tyler's head. Crimmins allegedly didn't realize how close the equipment had gotten to Tyler. He then closed the grapple. The machine struck and crushed Tyler's head. A witness told investigators that they saw the grapple move towards Tyler and either hit or pinched his head. Blood was later observed on the grapple directly above where Tyler had been standing. In an instant, what appeared to be a moment of joking turned into a fatal incident. At approximately 7 p.m., Apple Valley police were called to the area. When officers arrived, they found Tyler laying on the ground. There was a significant amount of blood around him, and he had suffered devastating trauma to his head. Despite the emergency response, Tyler was pronounced dead at the scene. A normal Thursday had now become the last day of Tyler's life. Investigators immediately began trying to determine exactly what happened. They spoke with Christopher Crimmins, who explained what happened from his perspective. Crimmins told police that he had been operating a grapple while Tyler was working below him. He acknowledged that the two had been joking around with the shadows. He told investigators that he was watching the shadows rather than the actual equipment and Tyler. He then said he didn't realize the grapple was moving towards Tyler's head before he closed it. This investigation quickly turned into a criminal case. On August 21st, Dakota County prosecutors announced that Christopher Boone Crimmins had been charged with second-degree manslaughter. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Crimmins was taken into custody and his bail was set at $40,000 without conditions, or $20,000 with conditions. His next court appearance is scheduled for September 10th in Hastings, Minnesota. The criminal case is still developing. But regardless of what happens inside a courtroom, one fact cannot be changed. Tyler Lynch is gone. His family and friends are now left trying to understand how a completely ordinary day could end in such an unimaginable way. People who knew him began leaving tributes following his death. One person described him as one of the best people and wrote a simple message of goodbye. Tyler wasn't simply the man killed by a grapple. He was a 26-year-old person with friends, family, plans, memories, an entire future ahead of him. And that future disappeared within a matter of seconds. One moment, one mistake, one machine, and 1 life lost. As a criminal case against Christopher Crimmins moves forward, Tyler's family and friends are left with a part of the story that no court can change. They have to learn how to live in a world without Tyler. And Tyler deserves to be remembered for much more than the circumstances of his death. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for updates.